Welcome back. In this video, we are going to define and say what are the functions that we use in economics and in business. The first function that we use is the supply function. The supply function say the supply is the factory. The factory is willing to produce a lot of pieces if you pay a high price. So the supply function will work like this. If they have to, this is the quantity Q or X that you are producing. If you want, if the factory say we want, say we are willing to produce a big quantity, so you are here, very far from here. So let's say here is 1,000, 2,000, 2,000 what? 2,000 units of cars, maybe, or 2,000 units of planes, whatever. So the supply function would say, if I have to produce a big amount of units of anything, I will rather produce it at a high price. So if I have to produce a small quantity of items, I may produce, if the price P is small, I may produce a small quantity. So the quantity Q is the horizontal axis, and the vertical axis is the price. So you will obtain a curve that will do something like this, they will be willing to produce more quantity, more Q, if the price is higher. So this is how the supply function works. The supply function is an increasing function with a quantity Q. Now, this is from the side of the factory that is going to produce. The factory, they don't want to produce small quantities here at a small price. They want to produce big quantity at big price, because in this way they can earn money. Now, for the perspective of the demand function works like this. If they see, imagine that we are talking about the price P of iPhones. So this is P, the price of iPhone, of unit, the unit price of one iPhone. So this is Q, the quantity that is in the market of iPhone. If there are small quantities of iPhones in the market, let's say only 10 iPhones, because there are many buyers, the price will be very high, because everybody will be willing to pay a high amount of price for the iPhone. As the quantity increase, the price decrease. As the quantity increase, the price decrease. When there is a big quantity, the price go very low, because it's in the market so amount of items that the price get low. So for the perspective of the demand of the customer, the curve that you will obtain is this curve. So this is the demand function. And this one, the first one, is the supply function. So this is the supply function. We call it S of X. And this one is the demand function. When the markets goes to equilibrium, the markets goes to equilibrium when the price that the factory is willing to produce the items, so the factory is willing to produce the item with this kind of curve. P, price, unitary price. Remember, this P is price per item. Q, total amount of item, 10,000, 20,000. When the equilibrium of the markets arrive, the equilibrium of the markets arrive when the demand, when the offered, when the supply function and the demand function intersects. When in the market there is such a quantity Q of equilibrium, you arrive to a price P of equilibrium. At this point, the the demand, the customers and the suppliers, they agree in a price. This is the point of equilibrium. So, what are the functions that we study in economics? The first function is the supply function. The second function is the demand function. And why they work? Well, the factory, the suppliers, they work for a profit, of course. And when there is a profit, they need to take care of the cost of producing. They work to have a profit, of course. But before having the profit, we have the function that is the revenue. The revenue is the amount of dollar that you are selling. So the amount of dollar that you are selling is the price multiplied by the quantity that you are selling. So it's Q by P. So the revenue is a new function that we call R of X or R of Q, if you prefer, and is obtained by multiplying the number of items sold multiplied by the price per item. And this will be a certain amount of dollars. So if you sell, for example, 3 iPhones at a price as a price per iPhone of $1,000, the revenue when X equals 3 will be 3,000. So the other function that we have to study is the profit function. The profit function is named like by the name P of X, and this profit function, it depends on the cost. Because if you have a big cost, you will have a smaller profit. So the cost function to produce Q quantity or X quantity is the function that we have to pay attention what is the cost to produce X quantity. And the profit will be always the amount of US dollar that you have sold, the revenue minus the cost. So the profit will be always the revenue minus the cost. So let's go to do one example, and let's go to concentrate and be aware of this function. There are several functions: the supply function, the demand function, the cost function, the revenue function. The revenue is the amount of dollar that entered to the company by selling X or Q units at a price of P. X by P is, or Q by P is the amount of dollar that will enter to the company. The profit will be R of X minus the cost, C of X. This is what it will happen in all the problems. These are the functions that you will see all the time in problems in this course. So it's good that you stop a little bit and you think about what I have said about these functions. Now let's go to solve this example that say that you have an items, maybe it's coffee, maybe it's cars, and the price is decreasing with the quantity. So the price, P of X, is minus 0.27x plus 51. So when X is equal 0, the price is $51. As X increase, the price decrease. It's a rectilinear line. Let me put a rectilinear line that starts at 51 and have the slope negative, and the slope is minus 0.27. And the cost to produce X quantity, the cost to produce X quantity is another function, is this function. It's a function that when X equals 0, the cost is $85. So this is the cost to produce X quantity. And the function will do something like this, like a parabola, and we'll have this expression, 2.23x squared plus 3.85x plus 85. As x increase, the cost increase, the cost to produce x quantity. So the problem is asking, what is the revenue and the profit? Well, the revenue is the amount of dollar that will enter when you sell X units. When you sell X units, let's say 3 iPhone, the amount of dollar that will enter is the amount of iPhone 3 multiplied by the price of each iPhone. Let's say 1,000. So the revenue is X by P of X. What is in this case the function revenue for any X? Is X by P of X multiplied by minus 0.27X plus 51. And if I multiply this, the revenue function R of X will be minus 0.27x squared plus 51x. Perfect. And what is the profit to when you sell X unit? The profit P when you sell X unit is the revenue, the amount that has gone to your pockets, this amount, minus the cost that cost you to produce X units. So the profit function P of X, P of X, P of X will be R of X minus C of X. R of X is minus 0.27x squared plus 51x. This is R of X minus C of X. C of X is given here, is 2.23 x squared plus 3.5 x plus 85. So now you know how to sum. So the function P of X is, I sum the x squared with the x squared, will be minus 2.23 plus 0.27 is 2.50, I think, 2.5 x squared plus 51x plus 3.1 is 53.5x minus 85. So this is the profit, P of X. So P of X is the profit to sell X units, and this function will have a maximum. This function will do like this. When X equals 0, when you don't sell anything, you lose $85. As you sell more, this is the profit P of X. As you sell more and more, you arrive to a maximum, and later on, the profit decrease. So what is this maximum? This maximum, which quantity X you have to sell to obtain the maximum profit? To do this, we will look for the slope. We will look for what is the slope of the function at this point. When the slope is 0, when it's horizontal, you have a maximum. And this part, we will do it later. With this, you get in touch with this kind of functions. You can read all the and see all the examples that are in your textbook, get a better idea how these functions are working. But sorry, here is 51x minus 3.5x. So it's not 53.5, is, let me erase, is 51, 50, 48, 47.5, right? 47.5x minus 85 is correct. Now this is the profit. And we will see when this is the maximum x, when the x maximum occurs soon, very soon.